Hey friends, Shauna from glittergiftsandmore.com. I sell glitter tumblers, and I sell ready-to-use water slide decals. I'm going to show you real quick how we made this 30-ounce multicolored ombre tumbler. We're starting with a prepped and spray painted tumbler, and we're using matte Mod Podge to adhere the glitter. Once you get that matte Mod Podge on there smooth, you're going to go ahead and start with your first glitter. I'm using Fab Fuchsia today, and as the main bottom color, we're going to start with the cup totally flat, sprinkle on where the main color will be. When we're ready to start transitioning to the next color, we're going to tilt the cup up so we get some sprinkled down glitter. That's going to create a transition into the next color instead of having a harsh line. The next color we're using is Tropical Treasures. This is a very similar color to the first, and it's going to create the transition between this color and the next. This color we start sprinkling on totally angled, because we want to get a sprinkle down from Fab Fuchsia into the next color, which is Pumpkin Patch. All of the glitters at this point are going to be sprinkled on at an angle. Those angles are what are going to give you the sprinkle down transition colors into the next section. If you were to keep this totally flat while you're adhering the glitter, you would end up with very hard lines, but instead you're creating spaces between the glitters as it sprinkles down into the next color. And then you use the following color to fill in those gaps. That's how you get that nice transition. Now there's plenty of ways that you can do this using all different tools offered by other folks or other tutorials, and you just figure out what works best for you. This is just how I've done it, but there's no one right way to do this. So try a few different ways, see what works best for you. Our final color, we start with the sprinkle down as well. We're using Sassy Sunshine, and that is going to be the final color of this tumbler. We leave the tape on there until the Mod Podge is dried. Once it's dried, we're going to go ahead with a hard bristle brush. Any hard bristle brush will work. I don't have a place to get the one that I'm using in the video, but I did hear that someone used a toothbrush and it worked perfectly. So any hard bristle brush. What we're trying to do is remove any loose glitter that didn't adhere to the Mod Podge before we start the next layer of Mod Podge. If you don't remove that loose glitter, you're going to end up with just a gunked up brush, and you're going to move all that glitter throughout your ombre. And that's what we're looking to avoid. So your next layer of Mod Podge will take a little longer to dry, so you have a little bit more time to work with it. You do want to get it almost totally smooth before you start adhering your glitter. And at this point, we still have the tape on our cup. We start with a flat cup for Fab Fuchsia. Again, same way we did before. You do have a little leeway that you're able to change the depth of each color. So if you didn't have as much Fab Fuchsia as you wanted, or you had too much, you can go ahead and alter how far up or down these colors go at this time. I find that the first layer of glitter ombre doesn't always look the greatest. The second color kind of brings everything home and blends everything together nicely. Start again with a tilted cup to move into Tropical Treasures. And let that sprinkle down into where you're going to want Pumpkin Patch to start transitioning. The main thing with ombres is you don't want that harsh line. You can control how far up or how far down you want your ombre to go. It doesn't have to be 50-50, but you just want to make sure you're getting the blending. So when I bring in Pumpkin Patch, I'm going to have the cup tilted again, and I'm going to be filling in the gaps in Tropical Treasure. And then I'm going to make sure that there is sprinkle down so that when we move into Summer Sun, couldn't remember the name of the glitter, so that when we move into Summer Sun, there is also some sprinkle down for it to adhere to. It's just the mixing of colors. Now these colors are so similar to each other, it makes it really easy to get an ombre from the pink at the bottom to the yellow at the top. I've always found using similar colors and more than one to transition is easier than trying to do just two basic, totally different colors. So in my opinion, doing this with, how many glitters? 5 different color glitters is easier than doing it with just 3 or 2. If you have very similar colors, it's a lot easier to get that transition instead of the harsh line. That's just my personal preference, my experience, and how I work. Everybody does things differently, and that's totally fine. So at this point, I have removed the tape. As soon as you are done with your final layer of glitter, you're going to remove the tape while the glitter is still wet. You're going to let the Mod Podge dry, and then you're going to dry brush and epoxy. So now I'm adhering the water slide. I went ahead and epoxied twice until smooth, and we're adhering a clear water slide decal. You set that in room temperature water, get your cup a little bit wet, and use a silicone squeegee to pull any water out from behind it. And then once we get the water out and all the wrinkles out, we go ahead and use a paper towel to finish drying that out. Once we dry it out, we do another layer of epoxy, and the cup will be good to go. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. If you want any of the glitters or the water slide used, you can check out glittergiftsandmore.com. Thanks so much for watching, guys. You have a great evening.